Hello and welcome to a Tuts Plus Quick Tip. I'm Adi Purdila. In today's Quick Tip, I'm going to show you how to create some pretty cool sticky nav bars. Now, I'm sure you've seen this around in more modern websites where when you scroll down the page, the nav bar that was typically just a regular one becomes fixed and it stays on the top of your viewport, so you can access the navigation anytime you want. Also, when the nav bar becomes fixed, you can also shrink elements, like make the logo smaller, maybe decrease the padding size, all that stuff. And that can be done via CSS with a little bit of help from JavaScript. So I'm going to show you two ways you can do this. Right here, I have a very simple page. It has a header with a logo and a navigation, and some typical content with some headings and some paragraphs. Now, what I want to do here is transform my static nav bar into a fixed one whenever I scroll down the page. In here, as you can see, I have my header, and then my image, logo, and then my nav, and then a simple section with all of the paragraphs. And I'm just going to collapse that one. Also, at the bottom, I have jQuery added, and I am using Bower to install jQuery and other packages. And if you're unfamiliar with Bower, please check out the lesson notes. I've included a link there. In a nutshell, Bower is like a package manager for the web. You're going to use the terminal, and if you want to install a package, you can simply say Bower install and followed by the name of that package. In my case, it's jQuery, and that will download the latest version of jQuery and install it in my directory. And right now I am working in my waypoints directory, which is on my desktop. Okay, so I want to show you the first method. So I'm going to do a script here, and I'm going to say function. This is basically equivalent to onDocumentReady, and I'm going to do a simple function right here, make sticky, for example. And in that function, I'm going to set two variables, my window, I'm going to reference the window, and my header. And I'm going to reference site header, which is this one. Then I'm simply going to do my window on scroll, and I'm going to have a function that does something like this. If, we'll do a simple check, if my window scroll top, and this is a function that will return the scroll position for that element. So if this equals to 0, which means the scroll bar is at the very top, then I'm going to do my header, remove class, sticky nav. Else, my header, I'm going to add the class of sticky nav. Okay, so inside here, I'm simply going to call that function make sticky. Now, this won't work without jQuery, of course, so I'm going to do a simple Bower install jQuery. And that will download it in my directory inside Bower components, jQuery, and this right here is the correct path. In the dist directory, find the minified version. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to open this in the inspector. So I have my header with a class of site header, and whenever I scroll down, it adds the class of sticky nav. I scroll back up, and it removes it. So, using the style.css, we can add that class, site header, and sticky nav. I'm going to set the position to fixed, and then I'm also going to set a width of 100% and maybe change the background color to this. Okay, let's refresh, and now when I scroll down, I get a different nav bar, which is fixed, and it will overlap everything else on the page. But using this approach is a bit flawed because pay attention to this first heading. When I scroll down, it disappears. And in fact, everything that's below this header is pushed up. Therefore, it disappears right below my header. And that's not a good thing. But this is actually normal if you're going to take this approach, because the position of this content and everything below my header is defined by the height of my header, right? Whenever I set the position to fixed, that element is taken out of the normal document flow. So it's like that element, the header, doesn't exist there. Therefore, all of the content below it is pushed up. So that's why whenever you scroll just by 1 pixel, that content is pushed up and is not visible anymore. Now, of course, you can calculate the height of this header and then set that height as a padding to the body. But you're overcomplicating things, especially when, for example, you might want to change the size of some of these elements. And then the size of the header will change as well. So I'm going to show you the other method, and that's by using a plugin called Waypoints.js. You can find it at this address right here, and it's a simple jQuery plugin. You can install it via Bower. So I'm simply going to say Bower install jQuery waypoints. Okay, and notice here it also downloaded jQuery 2.1.1 because it is a dependency. Okay, so now inside my Bower components, I also have this one, jQuery waypoints. And inside you can find waypoints.min.js and also a shortcuts folder. And the shortcuts, we're going to use something called sticky elements, waypoints sticky.min.js. Okay, so let's add those to our page like this. So we have jQuery, we have the waypoints plugin, and also the sticky add-on if you want. And now all we have to do, I'm going to comment this, and I'm going to say site header dot waypoint, and inside I'm going to say sticky. Now Waypoints.js is a plugin that allows you to do stuff when you scroll to a specific element. And the sticky add-on or shortcut allows you to do pretty much the same thing that I did here, but it's much faster, and on top of that, it gets rid of that problem I told you, where the content would just be pushed up. So let me show you how it works. Now, I'm gonna inspect my element, and right from the bat, you can see that the plugin added a div with a class of sticky wrapper around my header, and now whenever I scroll, it adds the class of stuck to my site header. And in addition to that, it adds a style, an inline style, with the height of my header. So that means the height is already there, and I won't get that flicker right here. So now it's just a matter of styling that stuck class. So for that, I'm going to do site header stuck. Again, I'm going to set its position to fixed, its width to 100%, set its background color to maybe something like this. I'm going to set the left to 0, top to 0, and let's see how it looks like. So now refresh, and when I scroll down, notice that I have a different class added, but I don't have the same problem here. So the content is right where it should be, and the scrolling is now more natural. And we can go even further with this and maybe change the padding to about 1em instead of 2ems, and that means I'll get a more slim header, and also I can change the size of my logo. So I can do header site stuck img, and let's set a width of about 120 pixels and a height of auto. Okay, so this is the final product. It goes from this to this. And because I added these nice transitions here, you get a nice effect as well. And that's how you create a nice fixed menu bar. Now, I want you to experiment with this. You can do so many things with it. Try to create your own nav bars, or in fact, use the plugin in other projects. The uses for this are so varied. For example, you can have like a navigation that will change according to which section of the page you are at, right? Like maybe a vertical navigation, which will highlight different menu items depending on where you are on the page. So try it out. That's it for now. I'm Adi Purdila, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.